Hello there, great person, and welcome back to Let's Dive into Warhammer 40k. Today we are finally, after all this time, doing Adeptus Mechanicus. And I know some stuff about them already. I know they are the tech priests of the Imperium. I know they're out there to, like, I don't know, work on the Titans, make sure that they run at least a bit, and, try to preserve the technology that was perhaps developed before the Imperium had its rise, like in the golden age of technology and stuff. So things I hope I will find out today is what is the machine spirit thing? How are the Adeptus Mechanicus related to Necrons? Because people told me they hate Necrons. Why? Aren't they machines? I don't know, but I know they hate Necrons. So, and I love my Necrons. So I hope we get that information. And so I will react to a video, and it is by not Luton this time. It is by the Exploring series, and it's about like 20 minutes. I hope it will give me all the information I need. If you say, "Oh no, he did not react to Luton again in an important video," yeah, tell me please. Tell me in the comments, because that's important. Like if there is stuff missing here like major stuff missing here, let me know in the comments. I might do another Mechanicus video down the line. I will probably do one anyway. But yeah, let's hope that this person has great information as well. After this, we will watch the Bricky video about the Primarchs, I think, or the legions from the Horus Heresy. And after that, we will dive into more detail on each Primarch, like Gilliman. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Gilliman and the Lionel L. Johnson dude. Like, who are they? What are they about? What are the Primarchs about? Who had the word speakers as a Primarch? Like, I want to know all that stuff. I probably know some of that stuff, but I'm bad with names, so I forgot. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video I'm reacting to, please subscribe to their channel. And also, if you like my reaction, subscribe to this channel. And yeah, leave a comment, share with other fans. We're almost at 2,000 people. Let's hope we get there soon. That's the goal for the year, 2,000 people. Let's go. But without further ado, let's go into the video. Let's hope we get to learn more about the Adeptus Mechanicus on Mars. And let's go.
You can't have science fiction without the science.
That's true.
And the masters of science for humanity in Warhammer 40k are the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Are they, though?
Combining cyberpunk philosophies with elements of zealous piety, the Mechanicus are viewed with a mix of fear, awe, and curiosity.
Okay, I'm sorry I paused here already. I pause a lot. That's what I do. But that's so interesting. Like, I just realized that, and I'm probably a very, very stupid idiot for not realizing it before. But yes, they're the science part, but it's so weird that they have the faith part, because in our society, at least, I guess, at least that's what I like, what I think, what I see from people is that science and faith are very far apart. And like, you're a dumb idiot if you go after faith, which I don't really agree with, but many people say that, and I know it's misrepresenting that a bit, and I hope you understand why I do it. But it's basically that, and that they combine faith with science here with the Adeptus Mechanicus, because I already know that they have faith, and they bless their titans and stuff. So let's see.
They are both separate from the rest of the Imperium of Man, as well as joined at their hip.
Yeah.
And their fate is largely tied to that of the rest of humanity. We'll take a look at the various belief systems of the Mechanicus,
yes,
their
please.
history,
yes,
and
yes.
of course, their technologies. The Mechanicus got its start many millennia ago, when humanity first moved beyond Terra and colonized the planet Mars.
When was that?
Mars was terraformed, and a colony began prospering there, developing their own culture.
And I'm sorry that I pause here again, and it's not because of the lore stuff, just because I love the the idea of colonizing Mars. Like there are so many problems with that. And I'm now speaking as a physicist, not as a person watching this lore stuff. Like that is what I know from my like work and stuff. So colonizing Mars is probably not that bad, but the worst problem you will run into when colonizing Mars is the that it does not have a sufficiently developed magnetic field. Like Earth has its poles, its magnetic poles, you know them. If you take a compass, you know them. But Mars does not have that, and that's the biggest problem, I guess, because the cosmic radiation will just like fuck you up. So, yeah, I hope they fix that with colonization somehow. The water is not the problem because I think, as far as I know, the polar caps of Mars are frozen water. So just melt that with a greenhouse effect. So no problem there. And yeah, the gravity, of course. Like Mars is what, a fifth or a fourth of Earth's gravity is pretty small. Like Mars is a lot smaller than you would expect. So the gravity is not that big. So if you live there, you will grow pretty tall after some generations. So yeah, those are the problems with terraforming Mars, but I don't know which problems they addressed in this lore. I don't remember from the Emperor video as well. So yeah, but just for your information, that's the problems with terraforming Mars. Biggest one is the magnetic field, and that's also why I guess, and I know I derailed this a bit, but in Man of Steel, the Zack Snyder movie, why they couldn't just go to Mars and terraform it, because they don't have a magnetic field there. Like it would fuck them up. And yeah, anyway, let's go. And by the way, this picture is cool. So we've got some space bridges. Like this is basically, these are basically space elevators, and they are like connected with a ring structure, which is a bit. It's not a Dyson sphere, but because that's like around a star, but it's like the same idea on a small scale, which I like. Like sci-fi go. Sci-fi go.
The colonists of Mars were primarily scientists and engineers, along with
Naturally.
miners and manufacturers. This colony would eventually become known as the Mechanicum of Mars, and in their separation from the rest of humanity, they developed a new religion, the cult Mechanicum.
Yeah. Why?
A number of commandments would later be written by the cult Mechanicus to codify their tenets.
The three
The first set
laws
are
of
known
robotics.
as the mysteries. First is that life is directed motion. Second is that the spirit is the spark of life.
I love that, actually. I first thought what's he talking about? Life is the spirit of motion. Wow. That's actually very, very clever. Oh god, I love that. That's so good. Because from psychology, that's right. That's right. It's just correct. Like you try to move towards a goal. That's all we do. We move to certain goals our brain gives us. So very profound, even though I don't know if they intended it, but it's pretty cool. So let's see what more commandments we have.
Third is that sentience is the ability to learn the value.
I'm sorry, I skipped 2. I'm so stupid.
Second is that the spirit is the spark of life.
The spirit is the spark of life. Okay, that one I don't understand. Like, yeah, obviously, if you are religious, yes.
Third is that sentience is the ability to learn the value of knowledge. And fourth is that intellect is the understanding of knowledge.
Okay, I'm sorry that I'm like doing small steps here, but sentience is the understanding of knowledge, and the other, like consciousness, or whatever he said, is learning knowledge. The ability to try to learn knowledge. Interesting. Sentience. Yeah. That is interesting as well. Oh, so much to think about here. A lot of philosophy about science here, and a reflection upon science in these statements, though. Yeah, I think I cannot say enough about this right now, because I would have to think about these commandments he just gave. There might be more, but we'll see just now in a moment. But those are things like perhaps I'll do a live stream about that, because it's already so deep. Like that's so cool. Because as a scientist, like I don't know if you know, but I like professionally I'm a physicist and a psychologist. So both of these things are very very important and interesting for my field of work. So yeah, it's very cool.
Both knowing the value of knowledge and understanding that knowledge is key to the cult mechanicum. Fifth is that sentience is the basest form of intellect, meaning that just being sentient is not enough, as you have to continue up the ladder of gaining and understanding knowledge.
Ah, yeah, I see. So it's the Jar Jar Binks thing that you you know the scene from Star Wars Episode 1 where Jar Jar Binks is like, Misa talk! Misa talk! And Qui-Gon Jinn is like, the ability to talk does not make you an intelligent being. And he's like, ooh, Misa now sad. I know he doesn't say that, but yeah. Yeah, sentience is a necessary step, I guess, towards understanding. By the way, and this is from many years of research on my part, understanding is so hard. It is hard to classify, what do you say? Categorize? Categorize? Do you say that? Yeah, I think so. Like it's hard to understand, hard to categorize, hard to define, hard to measure, like measuring, understanding. Jesus fucking Christ, that's a rabbit hole of hell. Tried that once. Like I managed a bit, but Jesus Christ, that's so hard. Like understanding is such an important thing. Like everyone will say, yeah, learning to understand is so important, but no one knows how to do it. Like there are many, many great theories and many great people who try to facilitate it, but no one really succeeded yet. So great thing.
This leads to the sixth commandment, that understanding is the true path to comprehension.
Yes, it is.
And the seventh, comprehension is the key to all things. Comprehension for the Mechanicum is notably different than just understanding.
That's what I was asking. Like, isn't it the same? Perhaps that's my bad knowledge in English language, but
A sort of transcendent state of intellect that every cult member strives towards.
Okay.
Finally, the eighth mystery is that the Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. The Omnissiah is the god figure of the Mechanicum, the embodiment of all knowledge.
I know the Omnissiah, but cool.
The second set are the warnings of the Mechanicum, beginning with...
I'm so sorry, I paused this a lot. But so the Omnissiah is the ultimate way of science, as far as I understand. And you know what's cool? I would even agree. Many people who, like in popular media and stuff, like that talk about science and what it means to be a scientist and stuff. Yeah, many of those people talk a lot of rubbish, unfortunately. But what he said here, that is the understanding is the ultimate goal and stuff like that. That's so true. That's so true, and I love that. And I love that the Omnissiah is then this scientific perfection and ideal. And even if it might be a sentient god in this universe, in this lore, like generally speaking, I think that's a very, very important thing as a scientist to strive for a god like this. And I use that, of course, lightly, but
with the alien mechanism is a perversion of the true path.
Okay.
Which is par for the course for humanity.
So you're racists.
Next, the soul is the conscience of sentience, and a soul can be bestowed only by the Omnissiah.
Oh god, I'm so sorry. I did not expect this to be so densely packed, and I chose the 17 minutes video, and oh god, I already see this being an hour. Oh god. Yeah, interesting. Conscience. Now he brings in conscience. Yes. You can't derive an it from an ought. Ought from an it, whatever. That's the problem. Oh, God. How can you put so many interesting ideas into like 3 minutes? Oh, God.
The soulless sentience is the enemy of all, which refers to artificial intelligence, or as they usually call it, abominable intelligence. The knowledge of
Ah.
the ancients stands beyond question, and the machine
Ah. That is why they hate AI, because it does not have conscience. Oh, that's so cool. I wouldn't have thought that they would be this way. I thought they would be just the scientists, but they try to have morality in here, I guess. Perhaps I understand that incorrectly. Please rectify that in the comments. Like, tell me if I was wrong. But that that conscience is a necessary thing to be like the omniscient scientist makes it so logical that they hate AI and they hate Necrons. Because I guess Necrons don't have souls. Did I remember that correct? Do I remember that correctly? I don't know.
guards the knowledge of the ancients. Flesh is fallible, but ritual honors the machine's spirit.
Okay.
And to break with ritual is to break with faith. Let's break some of these concepts down,
Yeah,
as
please
they are
do.
essential to understanding the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Tech Priests.
Yeah, I guess.
The cult Mechanicus believes in the divinity of knowledge, that
Yeah.
the pursuit and understanding of knowledge is the highest and holiest path that a sapient individual can work towards.
Yeah, I guess
A
that's...
man's flesh
yeah.
is weak and fallible, and ultimately their body is nothing more than a receptacle to hold their accumulated knowledge.
That is so interesting. That is so interesting. I've wondered about that many times, many times in my life as well. Like it's something I've thought about it. I thought about it a lot. What it's so hard to put in words. Like, because like in evolution, it's like we first developed emotions, and then we developed cognitive apparatus that is like loosely connected only to emotions anymore, and it's like the this thing that people think is consciousness and like what's the word, neutral, objective. No, those are not the right words, but it's basically what I wanna say. I hope you understand what I mean. Like you have emotions, and above that, like put onto that, like built onto that, is the cognitive apparatus. Like I'm sorry, I just don't know the word. But that's interesting that they also put it into the law here. That yes, emotion's cool, but the tech priest apparently they think that that knowledge and knowing and like these very objective, almost algorithmic ways of thinking are the key to truth and to perfection, I guess. Which is, yeah, many people think so. Like it's evolution. Like you have emotion, then you have cognition, and then you have perhaps something in the future. Who knows?
Technology and machines are a concept of perfection.
Yes.
And tech priests will commonly cast off their mortal flesh in exchange for machined parts to bring themselves closer to their god.
Yeah, I see.
The Deus Mechanicus, also known as the Machine God.
The Messiah.
The Machine God is believed to be the progenitor of all knowledge, an omnipresent, omniscient force that is inherent in the universe.
Oh, that makes so much sense now. Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking dumb. Yeah, of course. It's not the machine. Oh God, I should have seen that. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, I'm so dumb. The machine god is not the god of machines. The machine god is the god of the principle of the machine, of logic, of like algorithms, of objective thinking, of that. And it's not a god of machines that machines worship or whatever you would think. And I should have seen that. Should have seen that coming. I'm sorry I didn't get that. I love that. Oh God, I love that so much. It's so good. Oh god, it's so good. Please tell me if Luton's video will dive into this more as well. Like I need this as a scientist, as a psychologist. It's so cool. It's so good. This is so good. I love the Adeptus Mechanicus. Already, I don't care. Oh, this is so well written. So well written. I love it. So the machine god is the god of logic, of cognition. It's basically cognition and not emotion. I love that. So brilliant.
The machine god has appointed humanity as its chosen people, and according to the tech
Whatever.
priest, reveals its designs through selected prophets. Followers of the machine god pursue knowledge in order to reach a transcended state
Yeah,
of
naturally then.
comprehension,
Yeah.
so that they can
Brilliant.
understand the Deus Mechanicus.
Yeah.
Since the cult Mechanicus believes that all knowledge already exists in some form, they are more devoted to safeguarding what they know and recovering technology from humanity's past.
Is he trolling me? He's trolling me, right? Like how many great ideas of mathematical philosophy and mathematics and physics and all of that can you put into one single video? Yes, that's so interesting. And that's a very, and I hope I don't bore you. I just can't, like, I can't estimate if I bore you or if this is perhaps something you are interested in. But in quantum mechanics, it's, there's this big discussion. Oh God, I will just tell you, but I hope I won't bore you. But so in quantum mechanics, it's basically like every quantum object, like take an electron, it has a wave function. It's called a wave function. So every electron has its wave function, and let's say you have an electron running like going across a certain distance, and you describe it by having a wave that like goes over that distance, and where the wave is high, it basically tells you where the electron is likely to be measured, and where the wave is very low, it's very low probability to measure it. So this wave tells you a lot because it tells you where it might be, its probability. But what is the wave? We don't know. Like is that something that exists? Because the wave, and that's the problem, the wave is 4-dimensional. It's not 3-dimensional like in the space we live in. And like and I've said that in my science reaction videos. That's the crux of quantum physics. Quantum physics is 4-dimensional. And I don't mean space, 3-dimension, and time 1-dimension. I mean really space, 4 space dimensions. That's quantum physics. The wave I just talked about is 4-dimensional. So is that real? And that's the question. So that's why I told you, because that's what I associate with this. It's the question: is the science we describe, like, and in physics you would say, yeah, we know the knowledge is there's a wave, but we don't know if that exists. And you can go even further into mathematics. Like, does mathematics exist? Does the concept of number 1 or 2 or 3 exist? Or is it like a concept? Does it not exist? Like if you take 3 apples, 3 oranges, 3 pineapples, I don't know. You understand what 3 is, the concept of 3. Like, you know that, everyone knows that. You learned it pretty early in childhood. But what is it? What is 3? Does 3 exist? Or does it only exist through things that are 3, like 3 apples, 3 bananas? So very, very, very profound stuff. Very profound stuff. And I don't even, I'm you know, to be honest, they probably didn't know. They probably didn't know that it was so, that you could think about it so much. I don't know, but it's brilliant. I like it. I like it. Though I have to admit to you, I did not expect this video to be this dense. So watched 5 minutes, I recorded 30, so whatever. But let's go. That's why you're here, I hope. If you're still here.
Then researching new technology. Additionally, the cult Mechanicus believes in the concept of machine spirits, extensions of the machine god that inhabit every piece of technology in existence. Whether or not a piece of technology functions is entirely based on its machine spirit's disposition. If a gun's machine spirit is happy, it will fire as it should, whereas if it is upset, the gun will certainly jam.
What? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like if you build the gun correctly, and if you the problem here I have is that the warp exists, and that psychic stuff exists. So it might also be the idea of working and not only stuff working. So I don't know what to make of that, but just don't know. That is, I would have to think too much about that, I think. So let's go.
To appease the machine spirits and make sure they are kept happy, the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus will carry out countless exacting rituals involving prayers and very specific motions. If even a single screw is tightened incorrectly, it could upset the machine spirit inside of the piece of technology.
So basically, they want to create perfect technology, and they want to push themselves up through prayer. So they ensure themselves that they did right. But through that, because the warp exists and stuff like that exists and psychic stuff exists, they make it work even better. I guess. Like, am I incorrect? I don't know. I just don't know. But this is, at least that's what I got from this.
As the final warning says, to break with ritual is to break with faith. So it's less about understanding exactly how a piece of technology works, and more about believing in a ritual that appeases a divine force.
Oh, and as well, what I just thought about, they don't know anymore how things work because the golden age of technology is lost. So they have to believe. Oh, so do they manage to bridge this gap to the people who truly knew the science by believing and weaving the warp a bit into it? Or I don't know if it's the warp. I'm sorry if it's not correct what I say with the warp stuff. It might be something else, like this field of belief. So they make up for the gap in knowledge by believing, and that makes it work. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool.
I've been using the terms Mechanicum and Mechanicus interchangeably, but they are not the same group.
Okay.
The Mechanicum was the original organization that developed on Mars, and would later be fractured during the Horus Heresy.
I
The members
remember
of the
that.
Mechanicum that remained loyal
Invitals.
to the Emperor became part of the Adeptus Mechanicus,
Yeah.
renamed to distance themselves from the heretical Dark Mechanicum, and they became more integrated with the Imperium of Man. Let's go back to the original Mechanicum on Mars, however.
Yes, please.
The colony on Mars was largely independent from Terra, and so during humanity's initial conquests of the stars, both the Terrans and the Martians conquered a number of their own planets.
Okay.
The Martians made these planets into massive forge worlds, covered with countless factories continually outputting endless scores of machines. This was an era where humanity's technological knowledge peaked, and the entire scope of that knowledge was contained in tremendous databases, known as Standard Template Constructs, or STCs.
Oh, I remember those. They're cool.
Colonists would be sent down to a planet along with an STC, which would provide all of the information and plans to create shelters, power generators, transports, and anything else they might need. The Age of Strife eventually came, however, and humanity turned on itself, including the Empire on Mars. Mars was the site of a great power struggle involving terrifying weaponry that scorched away the terraformed surface of the planet. Most humans on Mars fled underground to avoid the deadly radiation from the sun.
Naturally.
A single faction, however, managed to dominate the other Martians, the Mechanicum. The Mechanicum began constructing new cities, known as forges, each ruled by a tech priest.
Okay.
All of the Mechanicum answered to the highest ranking tech priest, the Fabricator General.
Fabricated.
The Mechanicum of Mars began to dispatch fleets out into the universe once again to claim planets in the name of the machine god. And the Forge.
Sorry to pause again, but were they able to circumvent the Slanesh birth caused destruction of the warp travel routes? Probably, perhaps then. I don't know. Please tell me in the comments.
Worlds became not just sites of endless production, but also essentially massive shrines. The Mechanicum also battled with the techno-barbarians present on Terra,
That sounds
whom they
horrifying.
viewed as savages who used technology that they did not properly venerate. This hostility lasted until the God Emperor unified Terra and traveled to Mars to negotiate a treaty.
At
The
least he tried
Emperor
to
arrived on Mars
negotiate.
in a golden ship and managed to fully repair a machine with a single touch, leading many members of the Mechanicum to declare him as the Omnissiah, the physical representation of the machine god.
Ah, okay. So that's how that happened. I've heard that before, but I didn't know it was that he just touched something and made it work, which might just have been programmed to his DNA because let's be honest, he is probably very, well, not probably, he is very old and he probably developed a lot of technologies that are spread across the universe, especially in the Golden Age. So I can I can see things working to his or working when they are touched by his genetic imprint. So that's cool. But yeah, I guess why they I guess them thinking that this dude is their omniscient now it makes sense.
This, of course, made the treaty process a lot easier, and so
Yes.
the Treaty of Mars was signed, in which the Mechanicum would agree to provide countless weapons, ships, vehicles, and other equipment for the Emperor's Great Crusade, and in return, the Emperor would permit them to retain their religious autonomy, as well as retaining control of any forged worlds.
And that also makes sense because if they can only use their machines because they think they work and like if that patches things that they lost in the Age of Strife, that makes sense why he would allow them that because he knows they won't be able to reconstruct the golden age of technology. He just wants to use some of the stuff that was there, and that is, I guess, through their belief, like they can bridge that gap a bit, and it's cool.
With the treaty signed, the Great Crusade of the Imperium could begin, but it would also be the start of a schism in the Mechanicum. Not all of the Mechanicum believed the Emperor to be the Omnissiah, instead, seeing him as a sort of false prophet who would eventually strip
Heretics.
away the Mechanicum's autonomy. Some also resented the fact that the Emperor had turned the Mechanicum into one giant engine of war, and that he had forbidden the Mechanicum from researching certain technologies, such as AI.
But yeah, wouldn't they be against that from their rules, or perhaps the rules came later? I mean, the emperor probably saw what AI did, so he put that away. Um, yeah, but why would they want to research new stuff? Like, not why would they want that? I know they like everyone wants that, but isn't there a belief that that's not supposed to be? That they should like curate old knowledge through their belief? But yeah, there are probably like if you have a bunch of scientists that are like this, you probably have some that want to research new stuff always. So I mean that's per definition the scientist. So
Sometime later, when the Horus heresy broke out, Horus sent a Mechanicum representative named Regulus back to Mars to convince the Fabricator General to join him against the Emperor.
did they do that though?
Horus promised the Mechanicum that they would retain their autonomy in his empire, and that they could research whatever technology they wished. The Fabricator General at the time had already resented the Emperor, and so he led what would become known as the Dark Mechanicum in a civil war against their loyalist brethren.
Ah, yeah, I remember.
The battle became known as the Schism of Mars, as the traitors fought against the loyalists, and millions died both on the surface of Mars as well as in the space around it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the Dark Mechanicum emerged victorious,
Oh, they
and the
did.
Loyalist Mechanicum survivors fled Mars, although Imperial forces managed to blockade the planet until after the Battle of Terra, where Horus was slain.
Yeah.
In the aftermath, the Dark Mechanicum fully joined the forces of Chaos alongside the Chaos Space Marines.
Oh. Okay. Did not see that coming. Oh God. It's terrible. Oh, wow. Did they tell me that before? I didn't remember that. It's badass. Like, I love it, but Jesus Christ, it's very bad. So not only did they win Mars, they then just said like, yeah, okay, let's just go, let's destroy the chaos. I mean, it sounds a bit like they did not have that many losses. Like, of course, they had losses in the Civil War, but seems pretty okay for them. Oh, what are they doing nowadays?
And the remaining members of the Loyal Mechanicum were remade into the Adeptus Mechanicus,
Ah, okay. The
a key
loyalists.
component of the newly reforged Imperium of Man.
Oh,
The Fabricator General is now given a position as a High Lord of Terra, the chief governing body of the Imperium. The Mechanicus continue to dive deeper into their beliefs, becoming less and less capable of creating new technology,
Yeah.
and instead focusing on venerating and
maintaining.
worshipping the technology they currently possess.
Yeah. That's so sad. That's so sad. I mean, it's cool that they at least like, they at least are able to still use the old things they don't understand, and through their belief they can bridge that gap, but they can't do anything new because the more they forget, the more they have to believe, and the less they have to can research. And oh god.
Despite
Great.
this, though, they do relentlessly continue their search for STCs, the
Yeah.
holy grails of knowledge. So far, no intact STC has ever been found, and the Mechanicus gets by with only ancient printouts.
So if they would find one, they would probably lose a lot of the belief because they wouldn't need it anymore, because they wouldn't understand how things work now.
So, the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus in the 41st millennium are a bit more priest, perhaps, than engineers.
Yes, they are.
But they still are responsible for some incredible pieces of technology. Everything from las guns, to bolters, to rhinos, to cruisers and battleships are built and maintained by the Mechanicus for use by the Imperium of Man. And
that's also why they have to blast stuff before battle, to make sure that it works, to make sure that the little doubt they have about the workings are eased by their belief. And now I completely understand that. And now I also understand why they couldn't use or could only use the Titan in Hell's Reach with limitations or not at all without blessing it, and why they were so concerned, because they don't understand parts of it. I love it. This is so good.
additionally reserve some technology for their own armies, notably Titans.
Yeah.
A Titan is a massive robotic mech ranging from 50 feet tall to hundreds of feet tall or larger.
There is one. Yeah.
Titans are an incredibly fearsome sight on a battlefield and are easily capable of leveling entire cities or carving trenches out of a planet.
Yeah, so we have
The Mechanicus also field some of the mightiest ships available to humanity, called Arc Mechanicus, used as part of their ongoing quest to find and reclaim STCs. Cool. The primary infantry of the Mechanicus are the Skitarii, fanatical warriors heavily augmented with cybernetics,
of course,
capable of fighting in almost any atmosphere and equipped with advanced weaponry. The Mechanicus are also responsible for creating servitors, mindless drones used to carry out simple tasks across the Imperium.
I hate servitors.
Either vat-grown or made from lobotomized criminals, servitors are capable of acting with only the most basic instincts.
Yes, I've
programmed to only follow a task they're designed for. They generally feature cybernetic enhancements related to tasks such as carrying heavy loads or mining, but there are some servitors that carry out combat roles. Most of humanity in Warhammer 40k is wrapped up in a zealous belief in a religion, and the Adeptus Mechanicus are an interesting facet of that. Rather than continually moving forward to create newer and more impressive technology, they only look towards the past in a desperate hope of finding lost knowledge.
Yeah, it's so
they
tragic.
Have complete and utter faith in the machine god, but there might be something rather interesting about the machine god.
That is so sad. It is so sad. The more they believe in their machine god, the less they understand. Ah, it's so sad, so tragic.
It's said that many millennia ago, the man who would become the emperor of mankind battled with a creature known as the Dragon of Mars and sealed it away deep underneath Mars
That was a shard of Catan, wasn't it?
in the Noctis Labyrinth. It's unknown why the Emperor imprisoned this creature instead of just destroying it, but it's possible that he lacked the power to do so.
Yeah, he couldn't.
It's unknown, but believed that this dragon is actually a Catan,
Yeah,
the oldest
shard.
creatures in existence that betrayed the Necrons and went to war with the Old Ones. This Catan, named Magladroth, or the Void Dragon,
Yeah.
was said to be the most
I
powerful
know
of the Catan,
you.
and it's unknown what its fate was after the war in heaven, but it's believed to be slumbering beneath Mars. There are discussions then that what the original Mechanicum worshipped was not an omnipresent machine god, but instead a Catan sleeping underneath Mars.
Really, but that would be dumb. It wouldn't work. Like, yeah, the Catan are cool, but they are very far away from a machine, aren't they? I mean, okay, the Necrons are like these living liquid metal machines, but I don't know. I don't know. And also, it's just a shard of the Catan. It's not a whole one. So it's just a shard sleeping there, so I don't know. Though it looks badass.
This is all hearsay at the moment, but the ramifications could be drastic if this were the case. Combining cyberpunk with religion is a very interesting combination, and the Adeptus Mechanicus end up being one of the most interesting aspects of humanity in Warhammer 40k.
For sure, yeah.
It's said by some that the Imperium could not survive without the Mechanicus, but the Mechanicus could survive without the Imperium.
Probably.
While that's certainly a topic for debate, it would be interesting if a schism ever developed between the factions, especially if the Catan underneath Mars actually woke up. Either way, the Mechanicus operate in a very complicated and conflicted form, caught between a yearning for knowledge and a fanatical devotion to ancient rituals.
Yeah, it's so cool. They're so fucked. Oh, that was it? Okay, let's read that for the end. When uttering the incantation, mark well that the rod is upon and not within the intake. The second incantation should not be uttered until all the fumes have come forth. Then the way shall be clear for the sacred words to penetrate unto the heart of the engine. If the mounting be hot, say the third rune. If it be cold, the fourth rune is more appropriate, for then the wrath of the engine will be aroused. Yeah, it's basically a prayer, I guess, or a very, very fractured manual that has been changed due to the beliefs they have, like the belief phrases. Is there more? No, that was it. That was it. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this one. I know I got sidetracked more than usual here because it was just in my area of expertise a bit. So I hope I did not I really hope I did not bore you and talk too much rubbish here, but but for me everything made sense. But I know if you're not into these topics or if you don't have some of the background, I know it's stupid and probably boring, but yeah, I really loved this one. This was one of my favorite videos. I really have to give kudos to the creator of this video because it was only 17 minutes long, 17:22, yeah, but it was so dense. Was incredibly dense, and the way he was able to condense all the important stuff into single sentences was beyond breathtaking, and I loved it. I enjoyed this a lot. And let me, as I said, please let me know if Luton did it. Like, he probably gave more details, but did he really say more? Did this person miss some stuff? Yeah, I just don't know. But let me know. Let me know. And thanks for being here and watching to the end if you're still here. And as always, as I said, because like and subscribing, sharing the videos I do, we're almost at 2,000. Would like to get there this year before my children come, because I will be a father in probably August. Twins, funny stuff. Sometimes that happens apparently. And yeah, until then, I hope perhaps we get to 2,000 or perhaps end of the year. I just don't know. But yeah, anyway, I loved this one. Really did love this one. This was good. This was a very good video. And I was very afraid in the beginning because it was 70 minutes and it seemed to be a complicated topic. And it is. Don't get me wrong. But I was afraid that we would get a very surface level stuff here, but we did not. This was deep stuff. It was probably too deep almost. So anyway, let me know what you think about this video I watched, and I hope you liked the reaction, as I said. And please, as always, take care of yourself. See you soon. Bye.